What's up, everyone? I'm Lim Butler, and today I'm going to share with you how I brew coffee with the Origami Dripper. Big shout out to Slow Pour Supply and Anita Tam for hooking me up with this wonderful dripper and all the wonderful things they do to support our coffee community. So here's a list of things that you're going to need to do this. One, I suggest that you get a kettle, hot water kettle. It doesn't have to be this fancy one, it could be any kind of kettle. I like this one because it controls the temperature and keeps it stable throughout my pouring. You will need an Origami Dripper. You can use a fancy stand if you want, or you can just kind of set it, right into your carafe that you're brewing into. And I like to have a scale. The scale is going to be crucial in, your brewing of the coffee, keeping track of that weight. And also you'll need some coffee. The coffee that I'm using is about 20 grams. I like to use a 16-to-1 ratio. So however much coffee you're using, if you kind of stick to that ratio, you should be golden. And then something to drink out of and something to dump your wastewater in. So we have all that. Let's get started. First, I like to take my filter and fold it along the crease, open it, drop it in my Origami Dripper. Now I'm going to pre-wet my filter, and the reason why I like to do that is to remove any kind of paper taste. Also, this is an opportunity to use that water to heat up my Origami Dripper. My temperature is around 200 degrees, and with this variable temperature control kettle, I can maintain that temperature at 200 the entire time. All right, now that my filter is wet, I'm going to dump in my 20 grams of coffee. Just kind of settle the bed there. Tear out my scale. And as soon as water hits the bed of coffee, I want to start my timer. My scale has a timer on it. You don't have to be fancy like me. You can also use your timer on your phone or, kitchen timer, whatever. The pre-wetting, I typically use about 10 to 15% of my total brew water. And I'll let that rest for about 20 to 30 seconds. This allows that water to evenly flow through the coffee, wet all the grounds. So when I go to my initial pour, I can get a nice flow rate of water going through the coffee, getting a nice extraction. So with my first pour, I like to focus right in the center, just a small tight circle. And if my total brew water is about 320 grams, that first pour, I like to bring it up to about 100 grams. And I won't let it get completely dry, but fairly close before I add my second pulse. Now I'll do around 3 or 4 pulses, depending on the flow rate of the coffee, the water through the coffee. If it's flowing pretty slow, then maybe I'll just cut it to just 3 pulses. But if it's going pretty fast, which it's going pretty fast now, then I'll do about 4 pulses. That second pulse, I'm still focusing right in the center, a nice tight circle, about the size of a nickel. Allowing that water to flow through the coffee, not letting my bed get completely dry. And my third pulse, I'm going to do a wider circle. Now I'm at about 200 grams. And I want my total time to be around 3 minutes. We're around 150 right now. And this last pour, I'm gonna do a really wide circle, getting any grounds off the side of my filter. Get that down into the brewing. Then I'll bring this up to about 320, which is my total weight. And that's it. Now I just have to wait. So our brew is finishing off. I'm just going to use my wastewater carafe to hold my origami dripper. Finish with that. And let's taste what we have. Delicious. I love how the origami brings out those delicate nuances of coffees. This is an Ethiopian coffee, natural process. I'm getting a lot of the fruit notes, a lot of those delicate florals in the front, nice balance of sweetness and body, and a nice finishing aftertaste. So that's how I brew with the Origami Dripper. If you have any questions, you know where to find me.